The NIL era ruined March Madness. There's no Cinderella teams in the Sweet 16, and there's a clear reason for that this year. There's teams that are paying their players a lot of money to come to their schools, and then there's teams that just simply can't afford to do that. With that being said, the landscape of college basketball this year is literally pro teams in some conferences against amateurs and others, right? And so those other small schools didn't actually have a chance to make it to the Sweet 16 this year. So, how do you even this out? Because at some point, it's going to become really condensed to where it's going to be maybe one or two conferences that are really good, and then the rest of college basketball is an amateur league. So, how do we smooth out NIL era to bring back college basketball? When are we going to see the next Cinderella team? Ever? Maybe never. With the NIL era, there may never be another Cinderella team again. There's no Cinderella team in the top 16 in this. There isn't a single Cinderella team in the Sweet 16 this year, and that's a shame. That's what March Madness is all about, is seeing teams that you wouldn't have expected or ever guessed to make it this far. But what we're also going to see soon, I bet, I think somebody's going to get a perfect bracket soon. Probably not this year, but within the next 5 years, if NIL makes it so that some teams are actually just so much better than others that they're never going to get beat, somebody's going to get a perfect bracket. And it might be your boy. It's really hard to see Juju Watkins go down with a torn ACL. She was the best women's basketball player in the country. She was going to be the number one overall draft pick. And she honestly was going to be the huge next marketing scheme, right? No matter how big her WNBA contract was, she was going to be a millionaire off of endorsements. Now, with her being hurt, torn ACLs are a year-long injury. So fighting back from that injury is going to be tough. I don't even know if she's going to enter the draft anymore. She might end up coming back for another season of college basketball. So I pray for her. I really feel terrible for her. Like, I couldn't imagine how big of a setback that'll actually be for her career. But it's like, also, you've never heard her do any trash talking. You've never heard her negative in the media. She just seems like a good kid. So pray for her. I hope that Juju gets better. I hope that it's not bad. It's a quick recovery. I hope she's able to go pro this year as she was planned to. Don Calipari is the GOAT. He took down Rick Pitino in the round of 32, and Arkansas is the 10 seed. St. John's is the 2 seed. Calipari said, no problem. All of this old Kentucky beef, this old Kentucky rivalry, I'll handle that. Because Coach Cal is the best coach that Kentucky's ever had. And he showed Rick Pitino that once again. Calipari's the GOAT. Arkansas is now in the Sweet 16. All of the John Calipari chatter, the John Calipari hate, they said that he was washed, he wasn't good anymore, the way he builds his teams don't work. They said all of that stuff. Arkansas started off the season 0-5 in conference play, and they said Arkansas was done for. They wrote him off. This is John Calipari's best work yet. Like, literally, this is Coach Calipari's best work yet. He's taking this team that everybody wrote off, that they said that they don't have any NBA players, they're not that good. Now they're a Sweet 16 team. And if I know anything about Cal, they'll probably be an Elite 8 team. John Calipari is one of the greatest coaches of all time, and this is just him showing it. If he gets a ring at Arkansas, it doesn't matter how long he's there. If John Calipari gets a ring at Arkansas at any point in time, he is the greatest college basketball coach of all time. He's put so many guys into the NBA. Almost every NBA team has a Kentucky player. Whether you know it or not, almost every NBA team has a Kentucky player. He has put so many guys in the league that are still in the league right now. Some of the best players, some role players, just guys everywhere throughout the league. John Calipari is a top 2 coach of all time, and if he wins another ring, he will be the greatest college basketball coach of all time. Eddielinks was at the round of 64 watching Kentucky play Troy. Eddielinks was in Milwaukee. I went to the stadium, to the arena, to see the Cats myself in the tournament. And I was impressed. Mark Pope, the boys looked good. The team looked good. BBN was not in the arena. Illinois fans sold out the entire arena for the round of 64. I heard it was the same for the round of 32. So Kentucky was very much so playing an away game when we played in the round of 32, and we not only won, but Kentucky dominated. Kentucky takes Milwaukee. We won that trip. That was awesome. Mark Pope, applause. Getting 2 wins in the NCAA tournament is huge. Huge. That was a great win, both of them, because we dominated. It was never close. It was Kentucky basketball the entire time. That's what I like to see. I've talked a lot of bad stuff about Mark Pope, but this, sir, I applaud you. This is great work. Let's get one more at Tennessee. Kentucky plays Con- University of Kentucky plays the University of Tennessee and the elite and ooh. Kentucky plays the University of Tennessee in the Sweet 16 this upcoming week. This is a huge matchup because Kentucky's already beat Tennessee twice this season. Kentucky's been hurt, battered, bruised, but no matter what, they haven't lost to Tennessee. And so everybody says that old, what do they call it? Like everybody says that old adage, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. Yes, that's true. But sometimes don't you just have a team's number? It just seems like Kentucky has Tennessee's number this year. The games that they've played, Kentucky beat them at Tennessee bad, right? And so Tennessee's been rolling. They've been playing better basketball. They're back healthy. Kentucky's still not as healthy, but Kentucky's playing great. So in this upcoming matchup, this is going to be a huge game. If Mark Pope is able to beat Tennessee and get to the Elite Eight, this is one of the best coaching jobs that we've seen. I know that I was critical of Mark Pope. I understand that. But if he gets Kentucky to the Elite Eight in his first year on the job with a short recruiting cycle, then he's special. And he's going to be in Lexington for 30 years. Like he will wear the blue out of Lexington if he gets us to the Elite Eight this year. I will eat my words. If Mark Pope gets Kentucky to the Elite Eight, I will eat my words in everything that I've said about him. This will be one of the best coaching jobs that we've seen in a really long time. He was given a short leash to put together his team. He put together guys and just pieced them together, right? Piece by piece, he put the team together. And if he's able to put together an Elite Eight squad, then you have to step back and just give the man his flowers. I've been as critical of Mark Pope as anybody in the entire country, but I can still objectively say that that is an awesome coaching job. I've been proud of the team. I've been proud of the way that we've played in the tournament because not only have we showed up to compete, but we've shown up to dominate every single step of the game. Colin Chandler is playing his mind out of nowhere. That's development by Mark Pope. The team has good chemistry. That is camaraderie by Mark Pope. And then the lineup has been smooth. I don't know if he was just waiting to play the best lineup until the tournament, but the lineup that we have when he's subbing guys in, it works. He's playing our best players all of the time, and then he's letting Colin Chandler come in and play when it makes sense. And Colin Chandler's coming in and playing his role perfectly. That's why you see Kentucky humming like this. Mark Pope has been subbing in the right lineups at the right time, and his players are executing. That's what coaching is. Good job, Kentucky Wildcats. We're in the Sweet 16. Let's make it to the Elite Eight, and then let's get one more. Bronny James had 39 points in the G League. The G League is literally a clown league. Everybody, if you really pay attention to the G League, whoever your old favorite player was in college has at some point scored 40 or 50 points in that league. There's literally no defense, there's no competition. Guys rarely get promoted from the G League. And then, once a guy has a really good year in the G League, he goes and plays overseas. For the last 4 consecutive years, the MVP of the G League has then the next year, instead of going to an NBA team, they've gone and played overseas because they're getting paid better and they have more of an opportunity to play. So what does that say about the G League? That means that it's not a good product. It's not actually developing anybody. It doesn't make guys better. So Bronny James scoring 39 points in the G League means nothing. Bronny James scoring 39 points in the G League means that the G League is a bad league and it needs refinement. There's no defense. The players aren't playing hard. Bronny James isn't good. Bronny James couldn't score 39 points if you left him in a gym overnight and there was nobody else in there, right? And so let's look at this as a bigger picture. We know Bronny James is terrible. Bronny James is horrible. So how can he score almost 40 points in the G League? Get rid of the league. Either get rid of the league or refine it. Find some way to make the G League better. Xavier Restrepo ran a 4.8340. What? Do you know how slow that is? If you knew that was going to be your 40 time, and this is the thing, he didn't run that at the NFL combine. He ran that at his college's pro day. So he knew that his time was going to be that slow, and he still chose to run. If you know that you're that slow, Xavier Restrepo, don't run. Sit out. Say that you're hurt. Milk it. Hope that a team picks you early just off of hope and a dream and film. But who are you going to play for running a 4.83? Tight ends don't even run that slow. And you're a wide receiver? Sayonara, brother. Sayonara. You're going to the Canadian Football League off of that alone. There's nowhere that you can play running a 4.83 as a wide receiver in the NFL. Nowhere. Jameis Winston would be the first black quarterback in New York football history to start a season opener this upcoming year. That's insane. Jameis is a miracle and a wonder for a million different reasons. But if he's able to be the first black quarterback for the New York Giants, this would be truly historic. Everybody knows what the city of New York means to the United States. Everybody knows what football means to the United States. And putting Jameis Winston as the face of New York football would be one of the most iconic and historic moments in the history of the NFL. And there's no other better player to do it. Everybody loves Jameis Winston. And Jameis is a great quarterback who just hasn't really been given a real shot. Jameis is a starting quarterback, and he's probably going to start for the Giants the entire year. And I can't wait to see it. I'll be a New York Giants fan. Sabonis is one of the dirtiest players and Sabonis is the dirtiest player in the NBA. What he did to Jason Tatum is inexcusable. Jason Tatum went up for a jump shot, and Sabonis slid his foot under him, took his ankle out, and might have broken Jason Tatum's ankle. Doing like intentionally malicious stuff like that has no place in basketball. Draymond Green plays hard and they say he's crazy. No, Sabonis is crazy. Trying to injure people is crazy. When Draymond Green stomped on Sabonis' chest, if you really watch the film, Sabonis was grabbing his foot, not letting him go. So Draymond was trying to get his foot loose, and that's why he stomped on him. I'm not saying that Draymond did the right thing, but I'm saying that Sabonis is a continual dirty player. You can watch him every game and he does something dirty, trying to actually hurt somebody else in the league. Sabonis needs to be suspended indefinitely, and the league needs to look into him.